All right, this is the oldest gun challenge, and watching Ohio Wolverine, who's got a really great channel. Um, Gun Wild is another great channel. Long story short, Gun Wild came up with the oldest gun challenge, and he said you can either do it one of two ways. You can have the oldest gun in your collection, or the gun that you've had the longest, and then he did one of each. And then I saw Gun Wild did it, and then I saw that, so I went back and anyway. So this is my oldest gun challenge. This is the oldest gun in my collection. This is the only one that I can verify as an original, as the oldest gun in my collection. And this is gonna be tough. There's a pinfire. It's got spur triggers. When you pull back the triggers to the half cock safety, and then you pull them back the rest of the way, the trigger pops out. And then you pull the triggers, and it fires. And when you pull it to the half cock, it's got a button. You can crack them, and you put in the two roughly 38 caliber or 9mm pinfire, and it was a solid lead projectile case with a pin sticking out of it that came through those notches, and those actually hit the primer and made it fire. So if you can imagine a pin sticking out and then the hammer coming down, striking the pin, causing the projectile to go off, and the whole thing leaves like a rocket with no cartridge case left in the barrel or the chamber. And that was I believe it was a Volcanic Arms company came up with the first repeating lever action gun, and they came up with that ignition system, and then Henry bought that, and then Winchester bought it, and with other improvements, the gun that won the West was born. That's roughly the 1860, late 1850s, 1860s. This is another one. This one has a safety. It has this kind of half-ass sight that slides forward. I'm having trouble doing with this one hand. And you can slide it forward to fire it, or you can slide it back as a safety so you don't break the pins off. And then the hammer would rest on it without breaking the pins. So I'm guessing this one was a later development, and this was an earlier one. From what I understand, the pins were very fragile, and if they broke, the cartridge was no good. Strangely enough, you can get the ammunition for this to shoot it, but it's a kit. You have to put them together, put them in your gun and shoot it. You can't actually buy a complete round. They're kind of cool. They're pretty old. Don't know if I trust them, and I really like my hands, so I haven't shot them. So those are the oldest guns that I can verify in my collections. Somewhere around late 1850s, 1860s. When you look them up, they come up, Civil War era. I don't know. I've also got. I don't really want to take it down, but that's a matchlock rifle, or excuse me, a matchlock smoothbore, and I believe it to be a reproduction. Let me light the light on it better. Yeah, there we go. that on the beam is a matchlock, and basically the trigger, let's see if I can focus it. The trigger, you just kind of pulled it, and the trigger was attached to an arm that would drop down and light a like a lamp wick that's smoldering onto the, I should probably be pointing over here since I'm talking about it, would onto the frizz and light the powder. So you basically went hunting with this gun, with a smoldering wick on it, and when you saw something, you manually removed the frizz and cover, pulled the trigger, and but I believe that was a reproduction. I don't think that's an original, so I'm not going to include that. But when the Pilgrims got off the Mayflower, if they had a lot of money, that's what they brought with them. One of the reasons I got it was because the original recruitment for Minutemen was to have a rifle and ammunition, a firearm and rifle, a firearm and munitions that could shoot a duck off a pond at 15 feet. That's how low the standards were, and that pinfire or that matchlock was that met the criteria. So if you had that, you could be a Minuteman when the Revolution first kicked off. So that's it. So that's where we're going with the oldest stuff I have. The oldest gun I've had is something that's near and dear to my heart. This is an old Mossberg, and it's a 340. 340. Let me check it out. Yeah, 340 KA. This thing's probably late 50s, early 60s. My dad had one that he bought in the early 60s. And then elderly client of his ended up, my dad was a lawyer, ended up kind of in a nursing home. He and his wife got Alzheimer's real bad. And long story short, he ended up with this rifle. And he gave it to me when I was about 8 years old. So that was 50 years ago. And then he had his 340 KA, which he bought when he first bought the house I grew up in about 1965. The difference is this bolt is a little more fancy. It's been machined, and the bolt handle, the actual lever. Man, this is tough to do. The actual lever is a little bit different, but his was the newer version. This was the older, and that's why I'm guessing. I never ran the serial numbers, but I'm guessing it was late 50s, because that's when Fritz built his house and moved into it. Late 50s, my dad bought his house and moved into it in I think 64, 65, and bought his from the same place. But I've had this gun since, like I said, since I was 8 years old, and I've probably pushing 1 million rounds through it, just me. And right now the kids in the house are shooting. I've got foster kids and adopted kids, and they're pretty young, and we're still working through 22s, but then it'll get put one side. My kids, I shot it like hell when I was a kid, and then moved on to other things. And then when my kids were little, 25 years ago, they came back out, and we shot the hell out of it again. And they all got their own 22s, and we got shooting 22s and worked our way up to bigger and better things. And it keeps coming out, and it's still reliable. And don't ask if it's for sale, because sure, everything's at a price, but this thing, to me, it's worth about $1 million. But that's my oldest gun that in my collection. And this old girl, she's the one I've had the longest. So that's my That's my challenge. Y'all take care.